there something about this place and this park that's important, more important than any other place in a certain way to you, right?
Well, of course, this place is important to me because they were my formative years, walking that 5-6 blocks from the hotel, 7 blocks from the hotel here. Some of the hotels and rooming houses had their own stars, like our hotel had a dishwasher. We call him Pearl Diver, those dishwashers. He was a Czech, and his name was Joe Chuch, C-H-C-H-C-H. There was no vowel to his name. And whenever he'd get drunk at night, he had room 35 going upstairs. He'd in his sleep, he'd go, ah! So my brother and I would close his mouth because the other guys were objecting to noise. We realized later on he was crying out for his lost vowel. You've got a soapbox, but here's the way it would be. We'll stand on the soapbox.
Okay.
We'll stand on the soap, facing the audience this way, see? And here's the way it would be. He'd stand on the soapbox and address the audience out there. I had the good luck to be on WFMT, a fine music art station owned by the couple, Bernie Reed and Jacobs. And I found working that station was beautiful. It was independent. My program, my hour, was wholly unedited. And then it was taken over, first by the Tribune and then by WTTW, and it became something else. Once you lose your independence and you become part of something else, the very nature changes. And so it was a dream, 42 years was a dream world. Then when it was taken over by another more powerful force or factor, it changed by the very nature.
This is our program for this morning. And after we hear from Mel Zellman, and this message will speak of tomorrow's program. This is surreal, isn't it? Here we are. You heard that voice on tape, didn't you?
Sunday, February 2nd.
You heard that voice on tape. You hear the announcer in there, on the air. We're talking to untold, thousands.
We're just sitting here like this.
We're talking to a few people.
Radio really is magic. You know, I mean, television, everything, but radio is like magic.
Well, we'll talk about radio and TV, the contrast, why I prefer radio. We'll come to that. Well, that's a good one.
Radio is the most intimate of all mediums. I say mediums to avoid use of the word media, which I hate anyway. Radio is most intimate. See, using an example, Franklin D. Roosevelt as president, he had a patrician voice, a lofty voice. It would be seen to be distant from ordinary working people. But once he was on the radio, in something called fireside chats, he mastered it as no one ever did. He knew it was something intimate. He's talking to one person. You see, when you're on radio, you're not talking to millions. You're talking to one person.
So tell Amara then, take it easy, but take it. Take it easy, but take it. So we come...
Where did that come from?
Oh, take it easy, but take it, as an old folk say. I first heard Woody Guthrie use it in the song called Talking Union. At the end, what I mean, take it easy, but take it. You know. And it's an old, but it was used before Woody did. It's an old, it's folk say. Just an old piece of folk.
How long have you been using it?
Oh, for years on this
I
program.
remember.
In the old days, there was another generation. There was a heavy-voiced philosopher named Paul Gibson, a name not known to many young. He'd offer banalities by the carload, but people thought he was profound because he spoke so slowly. See, if you speak slowly, they envision a pipe and tweed coat and wisdom. The slower you speak, the more wise you are. He spoke very slowly, but what he said, of course, was as full as an empty paper bag.
Well, these are tapes that I've done through the years, and these are only part of them. These have nothing to do with the books. These are just tapes for the radio station, WFMT. As Paul Goodman, a lot of tapes of Paul Goodman, Ravi Shankar. Different ones, you know, Tennessee Williams.
A lot of music tape, too.
A lot of music tape, different singers, you know. Where the old folk singers, Big Bill Broonzy, Mahalia Jackson. I admire artists, simple as that. I admire gifted people who are devoted to their art or their crafts, yeah, of course, you know. And I don't admire slovenliness, and simple as that.
You get a special feeling in this room?
I don't know, do I get a special feeling? Well, I suppose the first is a lot of work. A lot of work.
Your work ethic. Yours, not the work.
Your work schedule, you mean?
Your schedule, your work ethic.
I don't have
You're more than 88 right now.
Yeah, I'm 88. I was born May 16th, 1912, about 28 days after the Titanic sank, born the same year. The Titanic went down and I came up.
Now, maybe it's not accidental that Titanic and I went with it. The Titanic is really, should have been the end of man's arrogance, that we learned nothing from it. Think about it. This ship that wouldn't go down, along just the tip of an iceberg, bang. And you would think we
I'm
learned.
a talker, I know that. I can talk, I know that. And most of my stuff has been oral, you know. Let Freud make what he will out of that.
The cigar, I know it offends many people. I apologize. I don't smoke in front of people in a room. I spoke by myself. My one remaining vice, so please bear with me.
We were talking before about the drive to keep going, to keep doing. A seeker of truth.
Well, you hope
with
it
an
is.
Intensity.
You
right?
see, you say a seeker of truth. That sounds pretentious. I don't know if the truth or not, you know. You try to find out what is true. What is it like? Basically, it's something else. All these books about certain periods in our history, certain situations in our history. Depression, the war, white, black, growing old. What is it like to be a certain person in a certain time, in a certain circumstance? What's it like to be that other?
But I'm talking about your drive.
Well, that's the drive.
But what is
To find out what's it like to be in the other guy's shoes. And who is the other guy?
This is sort of Pirandello-esque in a way, you see. Except that, see, I have a problem with the book, as you're aware of it now, you probably are, that I'm affected and people in the book are affected when they see them one way or another. They're never quite the same. In some small way, they've changed. Now, and sometimes my life doesn't really become involved with them, but in a sense it does. And so, see, Pirandello in Six Character Search of an Author, he's the characters he created will not let him escape, you see. But in this instance, they're actual people.
Alice Perella is a steel worker, has been that for 28 years, her father before her. She's active in the Steelworkers Union, President Local 65.
Loving Al, that's me. How you feeling? Oh, I feel fine. I just left the family, and they told me to come on down here and try to make some money another day for them.
Share? To share that wealth is to share power. When you start talking that way, pal, then they put you against the wall. They put you against the wall.
Certainly there are a number of people, quite a few people in Chicago, Miss Nelson, quite obviously. And
Maggie Daly, Mervyn Cup and Set. No, Chicago won't miss me. I mean, I went up to the public library the other day. Let's see, I've written 10, 11 books, and there isn't one there. They are in Tokyo.
As a poem written by Bertolt Brecht, when Caesar conquered Gaul, was there not even a cook in the army? When the Chinese wall was built, where did the Masons go for lunch? And the big one is when the Armada sank. Now, I know the date, 1588. I was told, Miss O'Brien, History 1, McKinley High School, that Sir Francis Drake conquered the Spanish Armada. He did, by himself. What he mean, waved a guard had given him by Queen Elizabeth, and the Spaniards caved in. So that's when the Armada sank. We read that King Philip of Spain, King Philip wept. And he asked the big one, were there no other tears? So I'm interested in the history of those who shed those other tears and who did all that work down through the centuries. So in a sense, that is the drive that impels me.
Let's go hear some of the voices, huh?
And if this is the society in which we live, and we're afraid to appoint our son, or our nephew's son, or our relative, or afraid to appoint any one member of our family, because of what? Fear of what might be said? Not the truth, the fear. Who creates the fear? Who creates these phony issues? The very people we're talking about. I say to you very frankly, if you're a teacher,
You're a teacher.
God help the students.
God help the students,
in
he
your
sounds
class,
Dick Simpson.
If this was being taught.
This is what's being taught. Listen to that. That's the city council, the trained seals, all applauding, clapping their flaps.
I and WFMT have given these 7,000 to 9,000 hours of tape to the Chicago Historical, so where I work as, I'm called a, God help me, distinguished fellow. A fellow, I work there. And sometimes it's to help there's a lot of work to be done because it involves categorizing the various ones. Written word, sung word, holidays, documentaries, novels, nonfiction, poetry, science, history, music, classical, local, instrumental, jazz, folk, spirituals, all that. Master, do you ever think of retiring?
The three books for which have become somewhat known, you know, are the oral history books, are Division Street America, Hard Times, and Oral History of the Great Depression, and Working, what people do all day and how they feel about what they do. And all three books are primarily the words of other people.
I call myself a gold prospector, and here's the analogy. A gold prospector heard about gold discovered in 1849 in California, right?
The prospector goes out to this area, he stakes a claim, I find the person.
I want this piece of this person, and that's gold. I heard about this person, one way or another, see.
And so after the talk, it's transcribed. It's on a tape and then transcribed, and there's 100 pages. Now that's ore, there's some gold in it. And then the prospector sifts, or whatever he does. So I find perhaps 8 pages, but 150 pages. That is the gold.
What you do is you keep the words of the person, but over and above all that, keep the truth of that person in. So you make it sort of a soliloquy, gives it a poetic feel. It's the actual words, but no way do you alter the meaning. If anything, you highlight the meaning.
You have got something from these people that is invaluable. There's a quid pro quo. They feel good. They're remembered. They're in a book.
It's not. There's nothing special about it. You know my friend Roberto Estrada.
Ah, Mr. Terkel, once again it's an honor to serve you.
You see, it's an honor to serve me. Now, we know each other 35 years. He says, Mr. Terkel. That's interesting, see? So I say, Mr. Estrada, Senor Estrada.
Mr. Estrada, Mr. Terkel.
And so someday, but some people call you Bobby.
Yes.
And what do you call them?
Well, I call them Mr. So-and-so, Mr. this, Mr. that.
There is no word as beautiful as the Italian prego. Prego. You think nada is the word, but nada.
Yeah, but you see, you're not saying it properly. It isn't nada. It's nada. Soft.
Nada soft.
Very soft.
Yeah.
Like a whisper. Like a let's say like a foam. Like a feather floating in the breeze. Nada.
The place is gone. Ricardo is the old spa. So there's Mike Royko, there's Nelson Olgren, there's Win Strachey, there's Herman Cogan, there's Bill Leonard. I start naming the guys, but they're my contemporaries. I have younger friends who are wonderful, except for one thing. And there's a joke that goes with it, you know. The old guy marries this young girl, a couple of generations younger than he is. They get along very well till the old guy meets a mutual friend a few years later on the corner. How are you and Billie Jean doing? He said, we split up. How come? She didn't know the songs. And so in a sense, they don't know the song. It's not their fault. But I have wonderful friends, you know. You among them, you got to start running them off. Great friends and neighbors. But it's not their fault. It's a question of the calendar. They don't know the songs.
We're sitting here in your house. It was your house and Ida's house.
Yeah.
So if you can or will talk about Ida, that would be important.
I don't want to talk too much about Ida. I mean, it's just too personal, you know. The loss of my wife of 60 years, Ida, is a void that will be there at all times. And so you have to live with it. You don't say forget it, because you're not going to forget 60 years. You don't say overcome it, because you're not going to overcome it, so you live your life. And it's not going to say as though she were here. She's not. Of course, the spirit is. So we have fresh daisies for her hair. The urn is still here, urn of her ashes. And so when I kick off, we'll mix the two ashes and spread them around Bughouse Square.
How did you become friends with Mike Reichel?
It was just nature. Mike, in writing for the Daily News, struck a chord immediately. You knew that he was talking about flesh and blood humans. We also knew he was a very funny guy, and also had a remarkable style in writing that was seemingly simple and yet very, very well thought about. The right word, he would choose the exact word that was needed. Mark Twain once said, the right word and the nearly right word is like the lightning bug compared to lightning. And Mike chose the right word.
And I was thinking, Mike, if I say tavern to you, what's the first thought comes to your mind?
Booze. What else? That's the business. That's what they sell in taverns. You ask me about a butcher shop, I'll say meat.
So booze is the staple of a tavern.
Of course.
But what else about a neighborhood tavern?
You know, you notice in here they've got a cash register. It drives me crazy if I happen to be in a hotel bar or a resort bar or any modern bar. They all have computers. They have computers. Now, with a cash register, I can take a couple bucks, put in the, boom, take the change out and put it there. With the computer, they stand there for about 5 minutes. One drink. I mean, my father would have gone broke if he'd had a computer. He would have spent. He wouldn't have time to wait on the customers.
I think we got it.
I think you got it.
Every third
Keep
drink.
quiet.
Sometimes every.
We're done.
If Tommy says one thing that'll hurt him in the cash register, I'll eat my hat.
3 signed confessions, that's a tough hand to beat.
This is Chicago, my friend. Anything can happen. In Chicago, there were 3 programs that were called Chicago-style TV. One was Garraway at Large. Dave Garraway had that free, easy, casual quality. Another was Kukla, Brand and Ollie, which Bert Tillstrom was the impresario. And then there was Studs' Place.
This is Studs' Place. Any minute, there'll be a story happening here. Funny thing, there always is when we drop in. So
And it was a restaurant, just a neighborhood of Chicago, any neighborhood. We called it the near Northwest Side. I ran it, but there was a waitress, Gracie, played by a marvelous actress, Beverly Younger, and a friend of mine, Win Strachey. Win was a folk singer. He played sort of a Jack London figure, a handyman.
Beautiful, Win.
Then there was Chet Roble, a sort of bluesy, 2 o'clock in the morning jazz pianist, and they were the 4 people of this restaurant.
Listening to the best blues in town. Lord, Lord, Lord.
And the lines all came from the cast. The dialogue was our own dialogue. My dialogue, Win's, Chet's, and Beverly's. I played myself.
Person?
Yeah.
Well, we heard you were going to the opera, Studs. We got this from Charlie, the pawnbroker. Thought you might use it the next time you
put
go.
it on him. Oh, ain't he pretty? Now, you gotta wear that the next time you go.
Happy hooligan.
This is the way they wear it. It had that improvisatory air, as though it were done in a jazz fashion. Well, you know damn well these shows had to go when Formula took over, when the sales took over. Then it had to be the mechanical person. It had to be regulated in prefab stuff.
What did you do then?
And then I was bounced. I was also bounced. And I had a rough time because at the time McCarthy was strong.
When you don't have a viewpoint, you do have a viewpoint. The viewpoint is things are okay as they are. That's the viewpoint. Don't rock the boat is a viewpoint. Don't rock the boat means shut up. Keep your nose clean. Don't make waves. That is a viewpoint.
What about regrets that you have? Things that you, if you could change something that happened.
Oh, I have too many. Too many. Regrets, I don't know. Letters I never answered. People I did not come through for. There are too many ones. I have so many regrets. Do I have guilt about things? Well, of course. So many. I can't even enumerate them. Too many regrets.
What about categories of them?
Well, they're big regrets. They're too personal. And there are the regrets of people I've neglected. Too many.
Too many.
I think everybody would like to be remembered, you know, one way or another, you know, leaving a mark, whatever that is, for better or for worse, you know. I suppose, for want of a better word, immortality. It sounds pretentious and, you know, presumptuous, too. I don't know. After you die, you know, you kind of hope something you did, you know, maybe. This came out because it impact. It's important to leave an impact, is what you said. Yeah, of course it is. Otherwise, what's the point?
Let me show you where it is. See, this plastic bag is where there are about 50 of them here, of the book, the one I'm working on. These are the tapes of the forthcoming book, with the circle be unbroken. I call it my ultimate book. It's a book about death, but it's about life. See, we never talk about death unless someone we know is close to us is either in a coma or dying, and it's guilt or grief that does it. We should talk about it as a matter of course. What is the one experience none of us have had, but all of us will have? And that's death, and that's the ultimate experience. I'm working on that. I call it my ultimate book, in more ways than one. I hope I finish it.
Will a circle be unbroken? By and by, Lord, by and by. There's a better on the way in the sky, Lord, in the sky.
We got it made.
Is the show over?
Show's over. It better be. What happened to the cities when you get off the plane? The cities are all the same. In the old days, getting off the train, you knew you were in Chicago. You knew you were in Detroit. You knew you were in Pittsburgh. Because of landmarks, now you get off, you don't know what city you're in. You got the same Red Lobster, you got the same Marriott Hotel, you got the same Golden Arch. So this happened to me. I'm on a book tour, and I say to the operator, in the motel or the hotel I was staying at, and I say, you got to work me up at 6 o'clock. I got to get to Cleveland tomorrow. She says, sir, you are in Cleveland. And that tells it all. That's it. Ooh, boy. All right, that's it. My legs are giving out. I think we got it.
This program came to you from Chicago.